Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Well, this one's gonna get a little nerdy. This is not the ACAN, it's an AWKEN. This is apparently how you pronounce it. But anyway, I'm investigating the controller pinout so we can try to adapt a SNES controller to work with this beast. Alright, so like I said, this is going to get a little nerdy. Well, there's two ways you can send data across a joystick port. Long story short, you got the older style, which was it actually descended to the old Ataris 2600. Is they had there was each of the four directions plus the fire button were all excited by a chip, and then there was a ground. So as you press the direction, it would pull that pin down the ground. So, which is great, but it's only a 9-pin controller, so you end up running out of pins more or less as you get higher and higher multi-button. So on something like a Super Nintendo, oh jeez, I did it again. Don't bump the cartridge. Alright, so you have the Super Nintendo, and basically all modern consoles do very similar things. Oh. Wow, that cartridge is massive. Okay, let's leave that off a minute. Alright, so keep bumping into it. So Super Nintendo, there are 7 pins in it, but only 5 are used. And 2 of those are, one's the ground, 7 is the 5-volt line. So it's interesting how it works, because you have a clock signal which is always being generated to sync up the chip on the controller with the system. There's a clock that's always going, and then there is a PS. I forget what PS stands for, but it's a latch circuit. Basically, lets the CPU know that a button has been pressed or released. And when the clock never changes, the PS changes when you press a button, and then the data line is where the actual which button you pressed is transmitted. So depending how long the word is, the byte or word is. So long story short, as I suspected, the AWKEN uses a system very similar to Super Nintendo, and Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and a couple others, Famicom, all use the same technique where you only use 5 lines. So I'll fire you back up and I'll show you. So let me get my camera a little closer here, make it a little easier to show. The line I'm on is actually the data line. Let me get my camera lower. So this keeps kind of unplugged, and it's out of focus. And this is in the way. Alright, you get over there. It looks a little out of focus, doesn't it? Where's the focal plane on here? It's gonna be a problem. Okay, whatever, we'll live with that for now. Alright, so you see, the signal's a little unstable, but I think it's just because I don't have a great connection here. But you can see when you press a button, see that line there? And then that there, slightly different. And then this is both together. Button, button, both together. And I'm sure if I did other ones. So what I've learned so far is learned so far is I don't like how this works sometimes. This is the yellow wire all the way on the left. That's straight up 5 volts. And the one all the way on the right, the orange, is ground. So, where'd my little pen go? There's. So, this is your +5. And this is your ground. So, I also know the brown is your data. Oh, excuse me. So, there's a, what I'm looking for now, there's a latch signal. Oh, it's just gardening. And a latch signal and a clock signal. Let's see if we can find those two. So, here's your data coming in there. There's your data. And this looks suspiciously like a clock. Let's see if the auto set works. Otherwise, I'll do it manually. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Time. Here it is. That's not very often, is it? Oh, there it is. It looks almost like a clock, but I'm not sure. Let's widen her up. It looks like a clock, but it's not a very stable clock, so I don't know. But when I press any button, it doesn't seem to change it, so I'm guessing that's the clock for it. So that means the white wire is the clock. And then the red wire must be the PS line. Change my time base on that one. Not quite sure what that is. It's probably the latch line, or close enough. Well, worst comes to worst, I'll flop them over, because it doesn't really seem to make any difference if I'm pressing buttons at all. So that has to be the PS latch line. So, long story short, whoa, there's my camera base. Okay, get up there. It's on like this little swing arm thing. Alright, so, now I know it's very similar to Super Nintendo. Since there's only 5 lines, which is identical to Super Nintendo, and go from there. So what I'll do next is take this Super Nintendo controller here and does this connector come apart? Yeah, whatever, I can always splice in there too. I mean, it does come apart. I'll mess with that later. If I have, maybe I got pins long enough to go in there. I'll splice in, or I'll put some connectors on here and put it, just create a little DB9 here and power up a Super Nintendo controller. Since I got 5 volts and ground, there's only 3 other signals, and I'm pretty sure I know which one's the data line, so it's like 50-50, man. So we'll see what happens. Super Famicom. Wow, look how brown that is. It's in the what is it? Did they put boron here in here? I think it's boron that keeps it from flame retardant, but it comes to the surface as it gets old, and that's what this is. It's harmless. This looks weird. Alright, so that's enough for now. Everyone, thank you for watching, and I'm going to start splicing the cable together. I'm still working on the MSX cartridge adapter. It's going to take another day or so to get that over with, and I'll start building up that joystick cable. But it's Father's Day tomorrow, so I might take a day off. So everyone, thanks for watching, and I guess the CDX will be coming back next week because I'm just this shouldn't take me too much longer. The audio chip, the audio amp they used on here is actually quite good. It's very similar, same family of chip as any modern audio amp, so I really can't improve upon it much. And actually, these red caps in here are actually very good quality audio quality caps, so can't improve much on it. So, oh well, this is as good as it's going to get. One thing I did notice is the heat sink on the 5-volt lines gets a bit hot, but yeah, should be harmless. Thanks for watching.